Hello YouTube. It's my lunchtime. It's about 12:42 p.m. and I just want to record a video because it's my fourth day of refeeding. I already had my coffee of the day, the layered latte that I like to make. And actually I was mistaken. I miscalculated. It's about 400 calories. So yeah, so far I've had 400 calories today. And it's really good because it fuels you. You feel good. It makes the fat that you put in there, the ghee, the coconut milk, the red palm oil. It makes it very effective. And then you add like 2 teaspoons of sugar. It's very good and it powers your day, your morning. So I had that around, I want to say 10 a.m. and it's already about 2.5 hours later. So I think even though in the ideal world I would be waiting until dinner or something, I'm just gonna break into the nuts because I haven't had a nut for a while. I mean, unless you count that half of the Brazil nuts. So I'm actually gonna have the bag of nuts, or start snacking on the bag of nuts that I took with me to Monterey, which I only did because I wanted to what do you call it? I wanted to basically have something in case I was gonna die from the 7-day fast or something. Like I needed fat or something. Like maybe I was literally, I don't know. Maybe the ketosis was so strong that I don't know, in a weird way. Maybe the fat would have gone down to close to zero. I doubt it, because I was at 23 pounds. I'm at 19 pounds of fat, carrying 19 pounds of fat. I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But anyways, I mixed different nuts in this thing. They didn't go rancid or anything. It's a little bag. And so there's macadamia nuts. It's not macadamia nuts. There's pili nuts. There's some Brazil nuts here. Baruca nuts right here. And then also we have, I thought about putting pistachios, but there's something about pistachios, maybe it's because there's a higher carb. And then sacha inchi nut, which is really sacha inchi seed. And I think that was it. I like to eat pistachios, but they're kind of addicting, and I think they're just too high carb and too much sugar in there. So I just didn't put it in there. But let's see, what else did I want to show you that I was going to snack on? And I'm only doing this because it's part of the refeed. I mean, normally it would feel like a waste of time or something, I guess. I don't know. And I also have some other thoughts too. So I'm actually going to have a venison bar just for some protein, probably. And also another bag of the Biltong. Not the whole thing, probably just a little bit of it. I know it's lunchtime, but technically I'm like snacking on all these stuff, and I'm gonna have my Wise Goat lion's mane almond butter and the hazelnut butter. Again, I got all this stuff, and I was like, I really wanted to snack on it and stuff like that, but it is what it is because it was on a 7-day fast. So I was like, nope, you gotta restrain yourself. And then obviously I got all this stuff here, right? The different chocolates. So I might open, I don't think I'm going to open these ones up because I already know how they taste. But I might try this one because I want to see how it makes me feel as because I fell in love with that. And then I'm going to have some of this. I don't think I'm going to have all this stuff at once, but this one's 80% dark chocolate, so I think I'm going to use that and dip it in the nut butters. So yeah, let's go ahead and start eating. Okay. So I'm going to have, like I said, a pili nut with, I feel so guilty. It's like, it's so fatty, you know. So before I do this, actually, I should probably take it out, put it in a bag, and just see how many grams it is, just to get an idea, because they're all about the same fat. Well, you can average it out, I guess. But let's see. You got to be infinitely careful with fats. But fats are good too at the end of the day, so. It's like you should be eating it. You know, it's the idea is you should be eating it. Regardless of what people will tell you, like try to demonize fats, it's not the way to look at things, in my opinion. So I'm just gonna take this, see how many. If it's like 100 under like 30 grams, I'm good. Okay, it's exactly 27, so I'm just gonna have some of this. Mmm. Oh. Mmm. So good. Macadamia. Snuck in like 3 nuts. And so here's another thing that I have to be careful about. So this one has 4 servings, and there's 2 tablespoons per serving. So I'm just gonna sort of open it up and stir it. I'm so glad I made it to day 4 of Refeed, because it's like, you know, I can start eating all this again, and I know. And guess what? Guess what? I weighed myself this morning. I lost weight. I'm at 151.6 pounds. That's crazy, right? I thought I was gonna struggle with weight gain, but I lost weight. And last night I actually came home. I thought I was gonna eat something. I was like, dude, just go to sleep, man. I was so tired. I'll explain what I mean. Why I was so tired. So basically, yeah. So I weighed in about 0.2 pounds lighter, so 151.6 pounds than the lightest I was on the 7-day fast. And when I came home, I only had all I had was whatever I didn't show you what I had to eat yesterday 100%. But the total was about, I think I calculated 1,400 calories. So I actually, that was yesterday morning around, what was the time? Like 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. when I had it, or 7 a.m. I had it, something like that. So that felt like I didn't need to eat it felt like my stomach was gonna explode, like not explode, but I just had so much to eat that for the subsequent times after that, I felt like I could just go all in with whatever I had to do. And guess what? That's exactly what happened. Whenever there was like a new job or something intense going on, I was all in. I was like, I got to take care of this. I was very like focused, super focused, more focused than I've ever been in like the last 2 months. And I just honed in, and then I got a lot done. And then after that, I got so much done that I decided to say, you know what? Let's do more. So around I took like a break, and then around 8 to 9 p.m. I actually went into the office so that I could get a change of environment. Nobody's going to be there. And I worked until about 11 p.m. And the reason for that is because like I'm trying to get my productivity numbers up, right? But I want to do enough working hours to where it gives me wiggle room to take on other opportunities. And I know it sounds so corporate or whatever for me to say that, but I think I think that I've come to a point where I can work for so long and so long that I don't have the same issues that I initially did, which is with like my blood sugar and stuff like that. So I was kind of trying to do that before, where like in the beginning, where I was trying to put in 12, 13 hours days, and I would just get blood sugar crashes. And like it was in my mind to be able to do that, but it only took 2 or 3 hours for me to crash basically and realize I couldn't keep up with it. I'd be like, fuck, what's going on? I gotta go to lunch. And I thought by this was 3 or 4 years ago. I thought by having some kind of lunch that my ex prepared was gonna fuel me for the rest of the day, and it actually had the opposite effect. It made it worse. And so then I couldn't wait to get home to sleep, to go back into my bed. Either that, or I couldn't wait for after work so that I could have a big those nerds clusters for me to snack on for the whole thing. And you can see in one of my old videos, Mark, I don't know if you're watching, but there is a video of me talking about my new job and stuff from 2022, where I had glasses and I had a whatever this type of shirt is. I forgot what you call this, but I can't think of it right now. But I had that kind of shirt on, and you could tell I was a lot bigger and I looked a little different. I looked exhausted when I was talking, but in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna pull these 13-hour days, blah blah blah, and I'm gonna get all this done. And then I realized quickly, well, I didn't. It took me a while actually to realize that, well, even though I could handle the work, I was limited by largely by my health state, and it was like a quick, and so, well, actually, that's not so true. By the way, I'm just kind of licking little parts of it. It's still like basically there because I just trying to stir it, but basically, um, this tastes a little bit like honey, but there's no honey because of the maca. But basically, I would be thinking like I got to get like a sugary drink, or I got to get some Starbucks or something like that. I always thought it was a coffee. That's what I would think. Like, oh, it's just coffee. You got to keep getting more of that. And so I'd be like, if I was experiencing a crash like that, I'd be like, okay, I got to get something for me to fuel me for the next whatever hours. And so I would try to play this game. But at the end of the day, I could never pull those 13, 14-hour days because no matter what, like the more I would have that, it would be like sugars, carbs, or whatever. The more like the more I would crash, the easier it was for me to crash, after only 1 hour, 2 hour, and then it would go down to 30 minutes, and it would just get worse and worse. And then probably after about a year of doing that, I started realizing like this shit's not working. Something's not right. And I started realizing I was gaining a ton of weight. So that was probably when I got up to 210 or 220, 100, 220 pounds, because with a 44, 45-inch waist, right now I'm 29 to 30 inches. But the reason for that is because of essentially the mistake I was making with the association of a so-called reward and essentially getting energy. And then I started, that's when I kind of humbled myself after getting my PE license, like, something's not right here. I have to really figure out what's going on. And I just kind of was like, okay, let's start with exercise. Maybe you got to do exercise. Now you got to do this. And then you got that. And again, it's been 2 years now with me doing this, playing this game. And now I finally feel like I can go back to those times where I wanted to pull those 13, 14 hours and actually go ahead and do it. Or do whatever I got to do, And I've been thinking this way, like, oh, I can do this, like, about a year ago. I thought I could, and then I figured out I can't. And so then it became about this thing, like, get off my ass kind of thing. Like, we got to deal with corporate, blah, 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 blah. Which, I mean, it's understandable. Nobody wants to work for somebody else and work all those hours. And you're not even contractually, like, I'm not contractually required to do that. I only need to work 8 hours a day. But the thing is, it's when you don't have that extra time to be able to, like, even work on your own things or whatever, work on things that are related. you don't develop a good work ethic, you know. So maybe that 14 hours is not necessarily work related. Maybe it's other things that are important to me. I mean, hell, I had to sort of try to do that with the renovations. The renovations took so long, and I'd be really tired after work, but I still pushed through because, and so the other form of energy, um, uh, obtaining a receipt on the receiving end for me was, for example, after a while, I thought, oh, well, maybe I could do that. Now I can start doing that because I'm healthier with protein. And it turns out, well, there is some truth to that, but I wasn't protein adapted, you know? So that actually ended up working against me in some ways. But it was still somewhat effective for me to get the renovations done. And so now, I kind of like when I saw that email from my manager or whatever you want to call him. Not going to mention who it is. They're not necessarily my manager. They're just somebody that overlooks because we don't really have an official manager right now. He retired. But after seeing that email last week, I mean, my cortisol was up the roof because of the 7-day fast. But that made me think like, well, I started realizing, well, obviously after the 7-day fast, I'm going to be very mentally resilient, and perhaps I may have to do another one of these fasts in order for me to get to the same level again. But then I realized, like, what do you call it? I realized that I might be ready to handle something like that, especially since it was a vacation. And see, the thing what I used to do is I used to be able to do that kind of like 13-hour thing, but it was more like 9-10 hours. It wasn't very. Maybe it was like on average 9 hours. I don't know, something just slightly more work than what was required for my boss or whatever. But I'm thinking like now, maybe I do have that ability, and there's so much wiggle room when you can show that you can work really hard. I think that what do you call it? So, like I said, I did that yesterday, pretty much 14 hour day or whatever. And then, so I came home, I went to sleep, got up, obviously I didn't make coffee right away because it was already 7:40 or something a.m. I slept in a little bit. And I started to do my jobs and stuff. And so then he shoots me another email showing that I did all these trusses in the last 2 days. Like, it's like nearly 200. And that's like over, not 200 necessarily. But it was basically more than double of what he was saying that I did. So, like I said, I was telling you, maybe I exaggerated, 4 to 5 times more than what I normally would have done during that week. So it's like, maybe that's slightly exaggerated. But what I'm saying is that now I feel like I can do something like this where I can work 14 hours every day, of course. But you see, there's different caveats to that, which is that obviously you have to stay fit, right? And like, there's one guy that says, like, no wonder why you guys can't work hard. You guys don't have abs or whatever. You guys don't work hard enough on your fitness, so therefore you're not able to put in all these hours. And it's crazy because, like I said, right now I have this mental clarity on a certain level I've never felt in my whole life. So it's like night and day. And I'm not saying it's because of the fat that I had, but I think it's like how you go about your diet in a consistent way. So, for example, you really probably, with that 1,400 calories that I had, 1,400 calories that I had yesterday, it would have, like in other days, it would have felt like that was too low, but that was perfect. Even though like, it actually felt like I was bloated, like, wow, that's a lot of, because in a proportional way, it was more fat than it was anything else. But the fat is what keeps you satiated. So I didn't feel like I had to eat later. Although I did kind of like take a little bit of spoonfuls of the monk fruit, just to kind of, there was that sort of cravey feeling, but it's crazy. It's just like it's night and day difference, to be honest. But yeah, now I obviously you can burn out and stuff, but let me explain. what I'm planning on doing now is not necessarily doing 13, 14 hours, but significantly increasing my productivity time that I spend on regular work. Um, and I have confidence that I can do this, for 5 days a week or whatever, um, maybe some Saturdays, but I'm confident I can do this. And it may seem like I'm a simp or whatever for the company, but it's more about. So I've thought about my approach before. Like I was like, okay, if I'm gonna change my habits where I'm doing this for the company, do it for us when everything's kind of cleared out. So for example, right now I don't have any more debt at all. My debt's gone. Like from everything that has happened, the new car, the renovations, just miscellaneous things that happen. Things are in a perfect state right now, like 99.9% perfect, right? So it's like it's almost like God saying, "Do it," or some invincible powers telling me, "Go fucking do it." You're in the perfect state to go ahead and do what is going to exceed your expectations. And so right now, that's how I feel, and I hope I can continue this on. But this is what I'm planning on doing. So obviously, my response to that manager is I told them that I was going to basically do basically go into the office 2 times a week for the next 3 weeks. So I'm going to do that. But generally speaking, from here on out, in order for me to increase my productivity, I'm going to put in basically do the normal 8-hour work week, like at my house, and then maybe around 8 p.m. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna go on a run, hopefully do something, if I can squeeze the time in, because like I said, I have stuff going on at the house and stuff like that. So I might have to, or maybe I might have to, maybe just for some reason my mind at that moment or whatever, regardless of whatever diet I had or whatever, is going to be so tired I'm going to want to nap for about 2 hours. But whatever happens between 5 p.m. or whenever I stop work from home to like maybe 8 p.m., 9 p.m. or whatever, because maybe I might have dinner too, right? But at that point, I'm going to drive to the office, and I know it seems like it's extra gas, but I'm going to drive and I might only do this once every other day. Drive to the office, put in an additional 2 hours because my mind is clear. It's like, okay, I don't have this, I'm not thinking about my house or anything like that. It's a change in environment. And I'm going to probably make some black coffee. And it's crazy because I did that last night. And just put in an extra 1 to 2 hours of work. And trust me, this is going to increase my productivity so much more. And they're going to see, and people might be like, well, how did you do it? But let me tell you something. I'm only planning on doing this for about a good 4 to 6 months, if that, because I mainly want to be in a direction where the managers see, oh, well, look at what he's doing. Look at his numbers going up and blah blah. And I want them to see like the association of that and the sacrifices I'm making in terms of that, because not only could that lead to a promotion, but it could lead to other things in the future as well. And then if they don't notice, and if they just pass it off as meaningless or whatever, and seeing that I'm doing 500 trusses a day instead of 78, instead of 80 trusses a day or whatever, then fuck them. I may just end up switching jobs to something that's more manageable, and where they can appreciate me more, and where I can go to where it actually has more meaningful work. So I'm not saying, I know that, this is obviously a tentative plan for those, especially those that are from my company that are watching this. But this is a plan nonetheless, because I'm finally feel like I'm in the state that I can just go full forward with it. And it's something that I've kind of wanted to do from the start, that way from the start, which I couldn't do because of my ailments and stuff like that. And also the situation where my partner didn't have a good diet, and she didn't know what was healthy, and I didn't know either. Uh, I was addicted to alcohol, and I wasn't necessarily addicted to alcohol, but I was making that as part of my diet, and it wasn't. Obviously, we all know the ramifications of that, especially on the cellular level, and mitochondria and all that. But anyway, yeah, that's just my feeling, and I hope I can keep this up for at least a week. I mean, I don't know how it's going to go, but it's something that has to be done. You just got to make it routine, and it's got to be something, because I just kind of feel stuck a little bit. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's because of all the other stuff that has gotten in the way, that has forced me to kind of delay things in my career and stuff. And I've talked about this before, and it's like, it feels like it's kind of like taking a step back. And I understand, like, I'm not complaining about it, but it just, or I'm not saying like I have no passion for it, but then the main issue is just everything else that's getting in the way. So normally it would be in my own like interest, or my own like personality, or whatever you want to call it, for me to be all nerdy and obsessed with how building codes work, and how to analyze certain structures, and basically get my SE license, and try to do like analytical work, and see how the structural models sort of work together with software and stuff like that. And I do that on a day-to-day basis, but I feel like with what's going on in my life, I've been forced to step far away from that, and that wasn't what I wanted to do, but I can't deny that I'm in a superior position in terms of like life choices. So I've got that working for me, but it's kind of led me into this situation. So, yeah. So, I'm not 100% doing it for the company. I mean, I'm partially doing it for my own interest, which is to increase that work ethic, and try to get back on the wagon for what I initially wanted to do, which became thwarted by all these other stuff, like the renovations, and I don't know, just anything else that became super complicated, like especially like finding a tenant. It's like, oh well, that took like 3 or 4 months of just researching and figuring out how it works, and dealing with people and stuff, like learning about that, instead of just trying to go out there and getting screwed again, Anyway, yeah, so I'm gonna eat more, and that was a long talk. I understand that. So, yeah, here we are. So I started opening this one. Oh, I also wanted to open up this hazelnut chocolate. So this is same company, Wise Go. This is good stuff, but it doesn't have as much sugar as you think. I keep licking the knife. 10 calories, right? But yeah, I'm in such a state that I feel like I can really get ahead based off of what I wanted to do in the beginning, 3 years ago. And if you watch my old video, I was really excited about it and stuff, but I was also very tired. I was having nerd clusters, like the whole bag. Well, there's like 190 grams of sugar or something in that every single day, and I was gaining a ton of weight, and I got up to 220. It's like the worst thing. It was just because I was tracing after my ability to put in the work, but really I was just freaking unhealthy, and it was way harder than what I was doing before. It looked easier, but it was way harder. So yeah, there's that. And I'll open up this chocolate bar. Now, actually, before I have this, I kind of wanted to mix together the the different. So this looks really nice, actually. Check it out. I like those squares. It says Morania. I showed these to you the other day. It looks delicious. So I'm actually gonna try to mix my proteins in with it because slight glycemic effect. My yeah, I'm just kind of snacking on this stuff. I thought about not having so much protein, but I'm like, because I know I'm gonna have a steak later, so yeah. It's very interesting how fitness affects your mental clarity and your ability to get work done. It's crazy. Because at the time, I never did that kind of like work like with the demands that they were asking for. My previous job was way easier, in a way. In a way. What I mean by that is, competitive wise, it's way harder. Everybody's like 80 thrusts a day, where I'm at right now, compared to the average, is probably pretty good. Like if you just took a random person in the field of structural, asked them to do 80 thrusts a day, they'll probably do 100, maybe 120. That's, if they're experienced with it. So I guess it is kind of low, but for where I'm at right now, that's considered severely low because everybody's so good and they've proven that they can be in the top whatever of the field of structural. So in terms of like the different things that the different companies, so you really got to be good. It's considered a larger firm, But I'm not willing to sacrifice my health for this, and I'm also not willing to like I don't know. I'm not willing to kill myself is what I'm saying. But I'm willing to sacrifice my time in the short term, that is. So so I'm gonna break this part of the bar open. Probably gonna have the whole thing. I'm gonna first dip it in this lion's mane. So I don't know how much that is, but and then here's the hazelnut. Normally this would be in the Hue chocolate that I like to get. I'll show you real quick. So these are like sort of small, but I love it. This is the one that I normally eat. It has hazelnut butter in it already, but not not a not like a chocolate variation. It just has pure nut hazelnut butter, which is actually a little bit hard to find. You'd be surprised. I want to take a little taste of this just by itself. And I gotta be careful here. It says serving size 3 squares. Okay. Maybe I'll leave that alone for now. Okay, we're gonna open up the matcha one. I love the matcha one. I had this for the first time, like I was telling you, where I accidentally had 1,000 calories of dark chocolate on my way back from my sister's birthday, and I just got this really strong sense of calm from it. So I'm gonna have, like, you can see the whole bar is like this. So I'm gonna have 2 squares, I think. May seem like a lot for you. If I read the back here, there's 3 servings per container, so it's probably about a little less than 1 serving. So yeah, it's got 8 grams of sugar, not for that amount, but like, so probably about 5 grams of sugar in 2 of these. So it's all good. It's more about the adaptogens, the so-called adaptogens in the matcha and all that. So it's also got a crunchy feel. I really like it. And I'm gonna dip it in here and see. Now I'm gonna dip it in the hazelnut. You know what? I think I'm gonna put this one away. I'm not gonna have the other square because I want to try the other one. And I'll just have like 1 square of that. Gotta be careful with dark chocolate. Well, not as careful as regular chocolate, obviously. I wouldn't even do regular chocolate. Oh, this one's interesting. It's got like a big piece here, so taking part of it off is going to be a little difficult. This was an expensive. I think this was 18 bucks. This one was expensive. All posh and stuff. It looks like milk chocolate, so let me just. Hopefully, it's not. So let me just take a little. Yeah, because it doesn't tell you how much sugar's on this one. Oh shit. It's okay. If I have a small serving, I have a small setback, I guess. YOLO. It looks like milk chocolate, but it says it's 74%. It's white label. It's called white label. I have to look it up. Shit. It's all right. It's okay. I can handle it. I actually think it is dark chocolate. Ingredients: cacao beans, organic sugar, organic cocoa butter. It's probably because of the cocoa butter. It's got a more creamy feel, and so it makes you think it's milk chocolate. Mmm. Mmm. And actually, the last thing I'm going to do for this is I'm going to take a piece of this just to try it out by itself. You feel like you're in a rainforest. It's like this earthy feeling after a while, like you're in a shower or something. You got rain falling down on you or something. It's like interesting. So yeah, that was quite a bit of an experience. So now I'm going to finish off these nuts. This may seem like a lot of food right now, but it's not really that much food. And like, look at this. I didn't even like finish. Barely just scrape the top 1/8 layer of these two, which is, and it has what, 4 servings in there. So that ain't much. But it is 150 calories per serving. So it was probably 150 calories in total. But yeah, the combination of the baruca nut and the pili nut is like mouth-watering to me. I love it. Like this, the baro nut, it's so good. I think I might save these for another day. I bought a lot of stuff in Monterey that I didn't eat. Oh, I forgot about this. Sometimes I like to sprinkle cacao nibs on the chocolate. I forgot to demonstrate that. This time, you know what? Might as well. Well, maybe a little later. But this is a game changer because it really puts some satiety in you. Here's another brand that I use. The cacao nibs. So I'm tempted to have more chocolate to show you, but I'm gonna probably do that a little later. Yeah, this surprisingly tastes like milk chocolate. It says 74% white label. There's no indication it's milk chocolate. It has to be. It has to be actual dark chocolate, and there's some cacao butter, so that must be why. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna have more of this, and I'm gonna have some seaweed too. So this is a good lunch slash snack. I'm so tempted to get some more spoonfuls of that. I may or may not do it. Probably shouldn't, because I'm not. I mean, this has good nutrients in it, but like I was telling you, like you have to master the art of minimization, right? And for me, minimizing meant basically using it as a dipping tool for in that moment for the dark chocolate. So otherwise, it's like you may not want to consume it in other forms. It's like okay, good, you're minimizing. So probably do it a little bit later, like tomorrow. But I don't feel like I need to do it anymore. So that was good enough. These are the Barrow nuts, by the way. They're a game changer. Like at first I didn't like them as much, but it says it's got sugar, but they say it's natural sugar. I think it's more like just a carb, and they just put it as sugar. But yeah, it's been at first like I didn't know what to think of it. I was like, what is this, you know? But when you combine it with the peely nut, it's another completely different. I'm gonna put a little bit more in with this bag. I know I'm probably a little overdoing it, a little bit on the nuts, but I'll stop. I'll stop soon. I'm actually gonna finish the whole bag. I may not have this epic part right now, because I'm kind of getting there with my hunger, I guess. And I want to have a steak later. You know, that's definitely going to be more satiating. So I'm going to have it around 6, 7 p.m. But this is a good snack. I might even have a protein shake. Thank you for watching. Hopefully, I think now you have a better idea of where I'm coming from. I don't think I'm gonna have this whole bag. I'm definitely gonna eat this whole bag. But if I actually overdo it a little bit, it's probably not gonna be more than 60 grams of stuff, which translates into. Could translate, actually, that could translate to a little over 500 calories. So you know what? Now that I thought about it, maybe I should, I think I'm going to stop this one soon. All right. I had enough. So that's about 400 calories from nuts. I wonder why I feel full. Well, I don't feel full 100%, but because I'm still eating this, but the calories add up. But in a way, that's a good thing, because there's more fat in that than there is protein. And that's what I'm trying to get at, right? But why am I eating this? Because this one has a lot of protein. I don't know. You still got to get some protein, so. So like that makes me think like, why am I not eating the Epic bar? Because that has more fat than this. There's that one has a lower protein to fat ratio, so there's more fat, a lot more fat in that bar than what's in this. So I'm tempted to stop halfway. Yeah, I probably should. I just eat the other one. Ah, my mistake. It's all good. Yeah, but you know, I didn't eat that much more of these, so I still think, yeah, it was about 400 calories from the nuts alone. And then from the chocolate, another 200. I mean, I didn't do the calculation 100%, but you saw that it was just what those I tried the 3 bar. Was it the 3 bars? And it was just like one square here, or the small squares, and then the 2 squares, and then that one single square. But then the nut butter added up to, like I said, 150 calories. So this stuff just adds up. I mean, that's already, I think I'm already at, well, about 800 calories. It adds up, right? Because if you count this as well, that's, yeah, 800 calories. So you add that to the Laird Latte, I'm already at 1200 calories. And then this will get me to 1330. It's crazy how it adds up and how the nuts are so caloric. I'm also, again, I'm gonna have the olive oil thing, but that has, what, 20 calories, so. I don't know. It's chewy. But oh, fuck. I was gonna check my ketones. I'll do it after I eat now. But anyway. It's just like mind-boggling every time I think about how much I ate. Because almost by comparison, doing the same thing with like egg whites and a lot of protein is way more filling and way more satiating in a way. But I don't know. Fats are considered to be more satiating, so it boggles my mind. Put this on the seaweed thing. That's good. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that was fairly satiating to do what I just did, you know. But it's like you might think, well, why are you still eating then? Thanks for watching.